I can't believe this is where everything started. Having interest in simplified content, learning about being sustainable and care for the planet, such as zero waste, I stumbled upon simple living and minimalism. And I was truly inspired how they felt so happy. Simply owning less as well felt wow. And that's where everything began. Making the journey towards it. Hi, my name is Nina and I welcome you here on an update of 2 years of minimalism and what I learned. First, I want to give you a bit more background of what happened in the last 2 or 3 years. For a while, I wasn't calling myself a minimalist. Maybe you can relate to that. When is the time where you can call yourself a minimalist? So for me, everything built up from decluttering here and there. Then I had an internship for 3 months abroad and I had to pack everything in a suitcase. So deciding how many outfits you bring and in general what is necessary of the trip was one of the biggest events in my life to find out what do I need to bring. You can always buy stuff over there. Fast forward, that didn't happen. I was happy with my selection. I could be so creative, but also doing laundry with fewer things just seemed nicer. I could have the outfits on repeat and it just went on. Then when I moved back home, I made the decision to move permanently to Ireland. The time period that I had was 6 months to prepare myself to pack everything in a suitcase. At that time I was living in an apartment, so all the things and personal belongings that I wanted to bring had to fit into 2 suitcases. So that was a huge deal. So what happened during that time? A lot of decluttering, watching content. Something that I truly wanted but could never found is how many things do I truly need to own? Like the number 1 rule book that you should follow. So let's say you need to own 3 pants, you need to own 5 skirts and so on. I wanted this answer, like a perfect written out book, but that wasn't there. I had to figure it out myself. And this was a process that maybe for me took just 6 months. For someone else it took maybe more time, and I think that is as well so unique to your own journey. Just because I practice minimalism now for 2 years, a bit more maybe, I have another approach than you or different priorities, and simply because I was living on my own can make things as well easier. Maybe if you're having family or more people in your household, that can be a different game. When I arrived at my new home, there was not much really that I had to get, a few bits and pieces, but because I already declared, I knew I don't want to bring 500 mugs and all this stuff, so I wanted to keep the things tidy. In my next point, I want to talk about the rules and guides that I use that are supporting me still to this day, but also made it happen that I stayed consistent. I won't dive into them in detail. For that, I have videos on my channel. Feel free to watch them, what really worked for me. That one rule that I keep till this day, and I think it's my golden rule, is the 1 in, 1 out rule. That made sure that everything that I'm going to bring into my life will be valued. It's kind of watching the inflow. That's where it truly shines and not owning too much again. Number 2 is having a parking place for each item. I will know where the item has to go. I know where to find it. And usually if you have a place for something, you're more conscious of it and it just doesn't get messy. Next on the list is still periodically declutter. I do that sometimes in spring, when a season ends, I see through the clothes, and just in general, when I feel like, oh, there is a bit of stocked energy or a system is not working out. Same goes for digital clutter. Then we have a wishing list. The wishing list helps me to be sure if I really want to purchase that item. Another one is items that I rarely used and just kept on, such as random tools and screws. I found I wasn't using them on a day-to-day basis and I just wanted to keep them for the just-in-case moments. But usually those items I found were under 20 euros and I decided, hey, just get rid of them. You're not using them, and if you need them, you can ask someone, lend it, or rebuy it when needed. Final one is not owning duplicates. Usually I try to have just one thing if it is serving that purpose. It could be duplicates in shirts, it could be duplicates in tools. Having just one thing will be perfect. Same goes with not owning too many products for your face or so on. Maybe having just one nail clipper in your household, which is also why I developed more care for my items. This is generally interesting. Some people, they lose a lot of things, which was me in the beginning. I lost so many hairpins and everything. And when you're downsizing to just 4 or 5, you're really getting serious with your stuff. You're paying more attention to it. You're caring more about them. Being on this journey for 2 years, there is definitely always something to improve and progress. So in my case, one of the big part is my wardrobe, how to build a capsule wardrobe, but also pay more attention to the garments and with what material they're made of. I want to make the shift towards natural fibers. I do still own synthetic clothes, but that is because I don't want to buy everything in one go. Number one reason is I still want to be cautious what I buy and don't have any impulsive things, but also because my style hasn't truly found the end yet. Maybe it's still evolving. I also think it helps me to take the time, find some inspiration, what I truly want. But also it's more sustainable for the planet to use the things that you already have till they're at the end of the life, or maybe resell them. So that is a big part that I'm still working on. The second one is about how I consume. Not only with the things that I buy, with the media that I'm watching, how I expose myself, the way I talk with myself. That required as well some rewiring, interesting ways of learning, but also getting a bit away from social media and how much I truly consume and waste my time with doom scrolling. The most helpful way that I keep my social media in track but also limited is with app blockers. They just don't allow me to go in anymore. I can get the things done. Also, it turns out I have way more time and rest. Another area that I'm still working on is with my digital clutter. I already found a bit of a system of folders, but what I kind of do in the end is I dump those things in that folder and there it gets messy. Haven't found the perfect system yet. If you have, share it. I would really appreciate it to have less clutter. The last point, which is having progress in my interior. I slowly want to build a home that feels nice for me, and sometimes waiting a bit longer for the furniture that you want or understand how you would like to style your home and create your safe space takes time. So this is something as well that I am still learning, the practice of waiting and just in general prepare yourself for not having an instant gratification in general in life, because sometimes we have also different priorities and things come up. Moving on to the last part of this video, I want to share with you things that also flourished and developed while I was walking this path. One of the things is I took more care about my body in general. I took movement more into my journey. I started to go to the gym, build muscle, took interest, and with that came also the diet. I wanted to make sure what I put in my body is healthy, supported. So what have I truly learned in general here is a simple routine, having fewer options and sticking to the basics can do so much more. Another area which I find very interesting, which also taught me the art of using less and sticking to a few bits and pieces, is I've developed acne in my adulthood, which I never had as a teenager. And it made me truly feel uncomfortable and insecure for a long time. And I still recover from it, but I feel so much better. What I did in the end is I wanted to have that one-way product that solved it. I was looking up so many options. What I did was damage my skin barrier, made it worse. After I went to the professional, they did give me a cream, but eventually what helped was reducing the amount of products, sticking to something that serves my skin, plus the medical subscription, and actually learning as well about your diet and your hormones, which in the end was more or less hormonal acne. If you're interested in how I took care and overcome this, I'm willing to share it if you're interested. I have already touched that on in my progress is the consume. I'm very selective nowadays with who I spend time with. I also put more boundaries. I was a people pleaser for a very long time. You're building your own personality and figuring out who you are as a young woman is definitely part of this as well. All over, I think minimalism has taught me so many things, and maybe I can't put everything in words, but it's all about choosing your values. Make everything stay that brings you joy, in removing everything else that is in your way or doesn't seem to support you. I would love to know how you started to walk the path towards a more simplified lifestyle. Maybe you're practicing even longer minimalism than me. Share your insight. Till then, take care.